Okay, well, good morning. Welcome. Thank you so much for spending a quick hour with me. I am thrilled, absolutely thrilled to have you join me. I love this topic of how to increase your sales and recruit more and not feel at all like a salesperson. This is my thing. I love to teach and it works and it's so fun. And seriously, if you will go try a couple of the tips I give you today, you will see more sales before the end of the day, or at least get more interaction and a start with a connection that will turn into some sales. It's really so much fun. I am excited to ask you a couple questions and then share a couple ideas with you. So I want to know real quick, give me a shout out if you're on the phone. If you have access to the chat button down below, put it down there. If we could double the amount of sales you do in a month and double the amount of people that you recruit in 1 month, I want to know first one word, how would it feel? Or if you're really doing none right now, if we got 500 in sales and 1 or 2 recruits this month, how would that feel? Because some of us have either stalled or just got started. So if we got you 500 to 1,000 in sales, 1 or 2 recruits, or we double it, what would be that one word? Would it be like accomplished? Would it be excited, successful? Every now and then I get someone go, whoo, a little overwhelming. What would that one word be? And then the other thing I want to know is, how would that change your life or your family's lives? Okay. Is there something you would buy? Would you have a debt-free Christmas? Would you pay off a bill? Is there something fun you'd go do with your family? What would be that one thing? Oh, I like this word, confident. What would be the one thing if we could double your income and start doubling what you do on average in a month? What would that be like? What could you do? I like this. Perfect, inspiring, awesome. Freedom from debt and Taiwan move. Ooh, cool. Okay, all sorts of fun things. Keep bringing those in. If you're on the phone, give me a quick shout out. How would it feel and what would be that thing you would do?
I like the word confidence and believe in myself.
Awesome. Confidence and believe in myself. What else? Anybody else on the phone want to share a little thought? I've got pay bills, mini family vacation, relief. Anyone else feel relief? Uplift, feel accomplished? Okay, all sorts of different things. All right. So could I share a quick story with you about how I was able to double my sales and the amount of team members I had coming in? Okay, anybody up for a story? Just give me a head nod or a heck yeah, bring it on. Okay, I was at a stage in my business, which I know some of you are at, like Brandy and I were having a little chat this morning. I was about the same place where she was, where you've got several team members, you're getting consistent with your business. I had a title with my company, I'd earned my first trip, and then you get to this point where you go, extra money is fun, real money would be even more fun. Okay, anybody relate to that? Either put a little chat down at the bottom or give me a shout. Heck yeah. Okay, that's where I was. So there was a gal I had heard speak at leadership, and I wanted to get more training from her because what I'd used from her so far had worked. But if any of you have been to a convention or a leadership, you know how difficult it is to take home everything you learn and apply it. Anyone have that situation? Like you get fired up and you are crazy excited, but then to come home and apply it is a whole nother game. So I had applied everything I'd learned from her the best I could, but it just, you need consistency. You know, we go, if you're a church goer, we go every week for a reason. If you go to school, we don't just go one day and like dump it all in. We do a little at a time, right? So I wanted some help, and I got with this trainer who taught me what's called needs-based selling. And what that means is we first take the time to ask people about what they need before we start talking about product. If you're on the phone, just make sure you mute on your end, please. And then what I did is in my parties, I totally changed up how I did it. At the time, I was a scrapper, okay? I've sold scrapbook supplies, clothes, and jewelry. Had success with all of them. But at the time, I was a scrapper when I learned to do this. And what I did is I'd go to my parties and I'd say, okay, ladies, now please like try to think about how you could do this in a Facebook party, on a thing like this, a Zoom party, face-to-face parties. All these questions can be asked in every different scenario. So please don't think that, I don't do face-to-face parties, this won't work. Yes, it will. I've had tons of people doing Facebook parties using these techniques, and it's blowing them up, okay? So just like take my story with a grain of salt if you're not someone who goes in and does home parties. But when you scrapbook, you usually do home parties, okay? Kind of like Pampered Chef. It's very hands-on. So what I would do is I'd ask them, if you could preserve 3 memories in the next 30 days, for some reason your memory is just going to go blank and we want to get 3 memories preserved, and we got your pictures in a book and we got the stories written down, what would be those 3 stories? And so everybody would introduce themselves and go around. Now, right now, you may have them tell you how they know the host or what their favorite thing about the holiday season is. But I always ask a question that helps me reveal needs from what they need. So I'd ask them about that, and they'd go around and they would tell me all sorts of things. Like, Brandy, give me a shout out. If you could preserve 2 memories, what would be your 2 memories? Oh, I just unmuted you. You're all over it.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
You can even make something up.
Oh gosh, probably my daughter's first year playing school sports, and then my other daughter's first year kindergarten.
Oh, cool. Okay, awesome. Sarah, you got anything off the cuff? What would you preserve? If you could preserve 2 or 3 memories, what would you preserve?
Crap.
It's okay. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, she can't even hear me. How do I close?
I've unmuted you. Go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, my phone's trying to restart, so I'm trying to pull it up on my husband's tablet. Can you?
No problem. I can totally hear you. What would be your memory?
2 memories that I try to preserve. Gosh, the first time my son said "mama."
Oh.
And seeing his first clear cancer screening after he had retinoblastoma.
Wow. Okay, so you've got some major events that are huge. That is cool. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Just so you know, I'm going to mute you again, okay? All right. Thank you for sharing that, Sarah. That's so cool. So I had kind of a big story, too. I have 4 gorgeous, living, active children. The first one, though, I would have 5. He was this little guy that came into the world, and he did really well when he was growing inside of me. But when you come out in the world, if you don't have kidneys, it makes it really hard to live. So this sweet little guy didn't have kidneys, and he went home about an hour after he was born. And his scrapbook is what I have left of his short little life, and that is a precious thing to me to preserve and help my kids who were born after get to know their brother. So that was something that was precious to me, and I would share a little bit about my story and why scrapbooking was so important to me. Okay, now as I started presenting products, if you can feel, we've started making an emotional connection, and I've started learning about the sports that Brandy's kids are in, and Sarah and the emotional things that she's been through in her life. And as I start bringing out products and paper, I can start making suggestions about, here's this cute baby boy paper. Sarah, that might be something you want, or toddler. Here's this for kindergarten, the first year of school. As I start bringing out products, I can hand it to the person who's there at the party. I can give them a shout out on Facebook, whatever it might be, and we can start getting the right products in people's hands from the very start of your party. It is so cool how much it changes things. I am serious. When I started doing this, it was January. Okay, we all know January is not known for the best sales. Doubling my sales in January and February. Started off that year. I had a year to earn the next trip. earned it in 6 months instead of 12. If anyone's earned a trip, you know, you're putting in that last $50 at minute, you know, hour 11:59 p.m. I did it. And you're like, oh, and you've called everyone you know, okay? I did it in 6 months because I changed how I sold. I started making the focus all about the other people. I started asking really good questions. And you know what's really cool is people are saying, you are so not pushy. You're just so fun. And here I'm doubling my sales. And people are basically saying I'm nicer. Okay, right? If somebody says you're not pushy. And it wasn't like they knew me from the past. They just thought I was nice, you know, what I did and how I helped them get their scrapbook supplies. I did the same thing with clothes, do the same thing with jewelry. You can do it with your skincare, with your makeup lines, with your products for the kitchen and making life easier. Make sure you're having more meals at home. All these things can be found out, and then we talk to that person about each thing as we're bringing out tools and products. This is what's going to help that one problem. This is going to help that thing that you want to create more of. More family dinners, more soft skin, less wrinkles, more confidence, more time with our family, all those kind of things, okay? It's so fun. Now, is anyone starting to get like little light bulb moments and ahas like, wow, okay? My gals that sell all sorts of skincare products, they're using questions in their Facebook parties to ask questions, and they get lots of feedback. You know how some of you were answering the questions in the Facebook event? We can ask really good open questions, whether it's on the phone, text messaging, messaging on Facebook, posts, every area of your business, we can do these open-ended questions. So this is what I'm going to teach you to do, okay? We're going to start out with a few little tips on sales and then a few little tips on recruiting. Everybody ready to take this to the next level? Give me a Yahoo. All right, Darcy, are you just giving me a Yahoo, a high five? All right, so the first one is on sales, okay? I love, love, love how we can quickly, highly increase our sales because we sell more to people. We sell to more individuals and more per client. Because what we do is we ask lots of questions and help them build a nice long wish list. When you help them build a wish list, you're more likely to have hostesses and you're more likely to have recruits. The other great thing is when we ask these questions and we get them exactly what they need, things they're going to use, especially if you sell a consumable product, we need them to use it so then they want to buy more. Because you know you've all sold a product with kind of that instant gratification or that impulse buy. They get it home, you call and you follow up or send a text message. They're like, well, I couldn't remember how to use it and I haven't really opened it yet, right? You've all had that experience, especially those of you with the 3D mascara, okay? I know that sometimes they get it and then they don't get it out and actually use it because they're a little intimidated. We have to sell them what they need. So let me give you kind of a quick thought. If instead of going with that signature product, every one of you have a signature product, okay? For example, Pampered Chef or the Stones, and I love the Stones, okay? Unique is the mascara, love the mascara. Okay, love all these products, but sometimes that isn't what every person needs. And you lose probably a third of your potential sales by leading with your company's signature product. For example, if you're doing a booth and somebody comes to your booth and instead of saying, can I tell you about this mascara? Instead you just stop and you say, if you're to leave the house and only had time to put on 1 or 2 items of makeup, what would that be? And they go, oh, I can't go out without stuff on my lips. Would you start talking about mascara? Or would you start talking about lip products? Do you see how that changes things? So like my Pampered Chef gals, Brandy and Nikki, okay, you can ask people, which Brandy did a really good job at a booth. She had this really cute sign up, asked them what kind of chefs they were. But you can ask, are you more concerned about having nutritious meals, quick meals, or meals that have a certain like gluten-free or dairy-free or, you know, a specific need. What would be the thing you need the most help with? Okay, when you start figuring those things out, that starts to help you figure out what to start talking about, and you will have more sales, okay? Because if somebody comes into your booth and you start talking about mascara and they go, I don't wear mascara, they kind of like, okay, thanks. You know, the person that are like nodding and their feet are moving while you're talking, and then you start talking even faster because you're afraid they're going to leave. Okay, nobody walks away while they're talking. Does that make sense? If you have them talking about their needs, if you have them talking about the kind of dinners they want at home, if you have them talking about their makeup, if you have them talking about the health habits they want to create and the new kind of health they want to have in their life, if you have them talking, they're going to stay with you, whether it's via text, whether it's Facebook messaging, whether it's a booth. People, when they get to talk, they stay with you. They don't leave, both mentally and literally physically. Does that make sense? Has anybody been having a Facebook message conversation or text and it just dies and you have no idea why? Go look at that conversation. 99% of the time, the last thing you said ended with a period, not a question mark. If you start ending every one of your messages with a question, you will get an ongoing conversation going much better than if you don't, and if you just make a statement. You hope that you say, oh, you're going to love these stones. They'll brown your fries. You don't have to fry them in the fryer anymore. You're going to love it. And then you expect them to say, oh, order me 3 of them. Without asking them if they want to order it, you just tell them about it and you expect them to say, please hook me up. Most people don't. It's not the way our culture works in the United States. You have to ask, what would you like to order? How many? That's just what you have to do to then go on to the sale, okay? But when you know exactly what they need, it's not so scary to do it, and it's pretty easy, all right? So there's all these different kind of questions you can ask people, and you want to find that broad range. If you could improve your health in one way in the next 30 days, what would it be? And it's real easy to assume someone who's overweight will say, I want to lose weight. Sometimes they'll say, I just need to get a full night's sleep. Some people will talk about energy. Some people might talk about diabetes or their heart conditions, okay? That's the same with makeup, with cookware. You will always get surprised what people will say if you ask truly curious questions. Did you know 80% of the things we ask, we already know the answer to? How many times have you asked your kid, why did you do that? And you know exactly why they did that. You didn't need to ask why, okay? Most of the time we ask questions we know the answer to. I want you to start asking questions you don't know the answer to. I want you to start digging deeper, finding out what would it mean to you? Why do you want to have family dinners? Why do you want to have less wrinkles? Why does it make you feel more confident to have your face completely done? What would it do for you? What would you do different in your life if you were down 25 pounds? Okay? When you have found out that particular need, keep digging. You're much more likely to close a deal. Do not guess. Don't make it assumptions. People love to talk about themselves. Don't worry about it. I know some are like, isn't that kind of nosy? How many of you don't like to talk about yourself or tell your story or express your frustration or tell people why something's hard in your life? We all like to talk about ourselves. Don't worry about it. They will allow. Darcy's like, not usually. Now and then I have some of you that are shy, but even my friend who is super shy, the people she's most comfortable with, she does like if I go, how's things going with your mom and your brother? Because she takes care of them. So we still like it when people want to know a little bit about us, right, Darcy, now and then? The great thing about shy people like you, Darcy, is you're the best listeners. You actually can double the sales of people like me who are talkative, okay? Because you're the best listener. I start thinking about what I'm going to say too soon. Whereas you're like, you can just keep telling me all you want. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is recruiting. So I want you to think about this for a minute with recruiting. The typical method that most companies teach is tell people your story, tell them why you love the company, tell them what you're getting out of it, tell them how much money you're earning, what you're using the money on, tell them about what's in it for you. Okay, now stop and think about this for just a minute. There are several reasons why people are with their companies, and some of you were answering the questions on my Facebook page about it. Some of you are here for relationships. 80% of people stay with their companies because of relationships, sidelines, uplines, customers, all the above. Some of you are here because you really feel strongly about what the company has to offer, their products, their mission. Some of you are here because, dang it, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm going to replace my income, or I'm going to have financial freedom. I'm going to make it big with this company. Do you see how, right? All of you are here for different reasons. And some of you like started connecting with what I was saying. Yeah, that's me. Well, there's this funny little book I really like called Get Motivated. And there's these 3 questions in it that help you reveal what people really want out of life. And I'm going to tell you one of the 3 questions to help you kind of get in your head why this is so important, not to talk about why you're here, but to find out why somebody else might want to do this business, okay? Whatever yours is. And so Darcy, you're going to love this, or sorry, Brandy, you're going to love this because it is so cool. You don't have to try to convince anyone to sign up. There's no convincing. There's let's find out about you. Let's find out about how this might fit. If it doesn't fit, let's not do it. If it does fit, let's find out what you want from it and your goals. So this is the first question, and you guys are going to like have this major light bulb moment. So be ready for it. Here it comes. The first question that you want to uncover about people, and I don't ask it this directly. I have some other ways I ask this question. But what we have to find out about people is what motivates them more. Is it changing the world and the mission of the company, or is it money and titles, right? So like my Mary Kay friends, you all know that they go on stage, they get diamonds, there's a pink Cadillac. You know the money and titles drives a certain group of people, right? And then for other people, they're like, I love the mission of the company. I love how they give back. Unique has a whole, they have a whole, what would you call it, campaign to help people in domestic violence situations. Okay, so some people really connect to that side of it, and some people really connect to more the money and titles. Now, I want you to think about this for a minute. You've all met the person that changed the world. They love to do makeovers. They love it when you have more meals at home. Love it when they feel better and their life is better and their energy is better because they've lost weight. They just really love to help people, right? Y'all know those people. And I'm going to bet money my really sweet Darcy, who doesn't want to talk about herself, is all about helping other people, right, Darcy? I don't think you're about money and titles and being on stage, right? Okay. Now, if I was interviewing Darcy, my sweet, sweet, kind, don't make me talk about myself, Darcy, and I was like, this is so great. There's all this money you can earn, and you can be on stage, and you take these pictures, and the corporate office takes you on this big trip, and we earn these trips, and we get all this recognition, and it is so much fun. Darcy, are you just like wanting to die inside right now? Okay, I'm going to unmute you. Hang on.
Yeah, no, that's not what I need.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
If you start talking about what's in it for you, and it is the opposite of what the other person needs, you will lose 50% of your potential recruits. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, when Darcy is interviewing potential recruits and someone says, I've changed diaper 5,000. I would love to have someone recognize me. I would like to make some of my own money. Even though that's not her gig, that's not why she's here. She has to just be able to tell the person, you know what? There's lots of people in this company who've got recognition, who are making good money, who are able to be stay-at-home moms. It doesn't matter that she doesn't have the same desires. She just needs to be able to tell her that it's there and it's a possibility. She doesn't have to tell her own story. Did you guys feel that light bulb moment? Did that make sense? So, okay, so I hope Brandy is like a really good sport. So I was getting to know Brandy this morning, and she's amazing. She has some really opposite talents of mine. She is detail oriented and does these beautiful, I don't know, I'm not detail oriented. Okay, I'm like this snowblower. I get a whole bunch done, but then I leave kind of things on the side. My daughter helps me with the detail oriented part. Darcy is meticulous, and Darcy has office hours, and there's these two other questions. One is, do you like consistency or variety? And I got my friend, I think it's Darcy instead of Brandy again, sorry. And I got my friend Brandy over here who is consistency, and she's meticulous, and me, I'm variety, and I'm crazy, okay? I don't want to do the same thing every day. That's why I don't sell a product, because I get bored selling the same thing every day. So I get to talk about cookware one day and makeup another day, and I'm much happier, okay? Whereas Brandy should be like, you're nuts, Michelle. I do not want to think about all those different companies, okay? If Brandy starts trying to convince everybody how they're going to do this in a very organized, systematic way, and she's talking to me, who's variety, it's going to shut me down. I'm like, that does not sound fun at all. But Brandy can tell people, guess what? You get to make your own schedule. You get to work on the days you want to work. You just got to make sure you work. She can then relate to the people who aren't like her, but still have just as high of likelihood of being successful. They're just going to do it in a little bit different way than Brandy is. Are you kind of getting this? So there's these three main questions that we ask. They're called motivational style. And I have different ways. Like if I ask Brandy, I'm just going to ask you off the cuff. Brandy, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like change? How much do you enjoy change? Like moving or something big? What did you say?
5.
5. So not real high. It's not something. And I love change. I love the new year. I love birthdays. I think it's kind of fun to move. I like going to new states. Okay. I'm more the variety person. So there's these fun ways we ask these questions. And I have a whole script that when you sit down, you get to know them. And then you tell them about the parts of the business that pertain to them. And you skyrocket your recruiting. Okay, the amount of people, like if you interview 10 people and you've been getting 1 to 2 people, we can get it up to 4, 5, maybe 6, because you're going to make sure you focus on what they want. You know, it's so cool, Darcy, my sweet little, like, don't make me talk about me. You don't talk about you at all. You're going to talk all about them. It's so much fun. Okay, and it's a conversation. It's not the flip chart of telling them about all the perks of your company and hoping that one of those will, you know, how you're watching for their eyes to see if like one of those things will like, oh, I want a trip, or oh, I want recognition. You're like waiting for that thing. No, we're going to find out exactly what they're into, and it's going to totally change how you recruit. It's so fun, and it feels so much better. The other thing is, at the end of the conversation, you know, more of a hobbyist, because you all know you're going to have to recruit a certain number of hobbyists that helps your sales, but they're not your business builders. And you're going to know who's more likely to be your business builder, which I know, like you all ask me all the time, how do I find more people who work like me? I'm going to tell you there's a way to find that out because of the way we ask these questions. So who's excited about that? Who had an aha moment? All right, so tell me your aha moment. You want to tell me, Brandy?
It is things that I should already know. Just finding out what motivates them instead of thinking that everybody is going to work the business like I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it like kind of take some weight off?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool,
Yeah.
huh? All right, what other light bulb moments do we have? Anyone on the phone whose faces I can't see? Let's see. Finally just got hired. Such a relief to help. Weeding out feels pressured. Yes, no one feels pressured. It's so cool. It's really fun. All right, any other aha moments you want to share? Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to tell you about are my favorite top 3 types of questions. Because what I find is a lot of times people are like, but how do I create the questions? How do I know what to ask? Because most people in this country will ask yes, no questions. Do you have this problem? Do you have this situation? But you don't find the degree and the details if you then instead ask, how often do you do this? Why, how often, how much, what has been your situation in this? How do you feel about this? All these things really make a huge difference in the information you get versus just yes or no. Okay? All right. So, for example, asking a question like, do you like to wear mascara versus what's the reason you wear mascara? Is it to thicken, lengthen, or darken your lashes? That helps you know a lot more than just do you. Do you cook dinners at home versus how many do you cook for? How much time do you have? All those things make a difference. So I'm going to tell you about 3 quick questions. The first one's called the positive question. None of us like to be around negative people. Okay, if you think about the favorite people that you hang out with, go to lunch with, it's the people that are positive and uplifting. It's not the people that complain and complain and complain. So we need to appear positive too. But the funny thing is we actually need to find their problems. We need to find out that they're eating out more than they want to. We need to find out that they're feeling sluggish and overweight. We need to find out that they're not feeling as attractive and pretty and their skin isn't what it used to be. We need to find that out. So how do we do that without going down a negative road and sounding negative? What we can ask is the positive question, okay? So if you ask a woman, what do they like about their skin? Or what's their favorite facial feature? Think how fast they're gonna go down the slippery slope of, well, I like my eyes, but I hate my nose, and I hate my skin, and I hate the moles on my face, and they like just, you didn't even have to ask what they didn't like, okay? If you ask, how often are you having dinner with your family? Or what do you love about having dinner with your family? They're probably going to tell you, we do it like once or twice a week, but we're just not getting it done. We run out of time. We're eating out too much, okay? You can ask a positive question if you get really wise about this and not have to ask a negative one. Now, if they don't answer the question, I have this little tip. I ask if there was one thing you could tweak. I try to make it sound really small, like I assume that everything's fine, even though I know it's not. If there's one thing you could tweak or change about your health, what would be that one thing you would love to improve? They probably have a long list, or about their skin, or about the way they apply makeup, or about the dinners that they're having, okay? What's that one thing? So I'm actually going to give you 4 different questions. The next one, and it's fun because Brandy, I know, used these for a drawing flip she did. I love the question on the scale of 1 to 10. Okay? On a scale of 1 to 10, tell me a little bit about how badly you want to make sure you're having family dinners, let's say 5 to 7 times a week. Okay? On a scale of 1 to 10, how is your energy at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with the current makeup regimen you have? On a scale of 1 to 10, how dry do you feel like your skin is? Okay, there's all these things because we have this way of saying good, sure, fine, and that for one person means something different than to another person. And so we'll make this assumption, like never text the word sure. Okay, think about how many different things that could mean. Do not text the word sure. It could be sure. It could be sure. Okay, right? Make sure you're very clear in the wording that you use when you're doing text messages and Facebook messages. But the scale of 1 to 10 gets people to tell you what they really think, and they're kind of caught off guard, and they won't really, you know how some people will try to minimize how they feel, but when they get the scale of 1 to 10, kind of catches them off guard, and they're a little more honest about it. It's pretty funny. It really helps you to know how to figure out where people are at and how much they need your product. Okay, the next one, the third one is how often. How often do you have dinner at home? How often do you wash your face in a week? How often do you exercise? How often? Okay, asking how often finds a lot more information than do you do XYZ. Okay, can you see how different that is? You need more information to make better recommendations. But when you make that recommendation, you're pretty sure they're going to buy or be interested or buy one day, even if it's not today. It's not a no, it's a not now, because you know what they need and why. All right? So you've got how to sell better, you've got how to recruit differently, and you've got these 3 little magic questions. Who is excited about taking their business to the next level? Woo! Sarah, Brandy, okay.
Yay!
Yay! All right. This is so fun.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome. Okay, I love, 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 love the different things that you can do with this information. And I want to tell you how you can get more of this information with me, because I can tell you when you start going out and trying to talk to people, whether it's on Facebook or post messaging or making posts on social media, sitting down and interviewing people, it's really nice to go practice it and come back and go, okay, Michelle, what would you have done different here? Okay, Michelle, this is what I did, but then they said this, and then I didn't know what to ask them next. Because there's like these follow-up questions after somebody says one thing, oh, I have dinner this many times a week. Okay, you need to ask, how many times do you want to? What would you eat if you were having the ideal meals? So we have to learn to kind of dig and ask follow-up questions. And those I can't write out completely for you because each situation is different. So what we can do is we can practice this. What I have is this really cool opportunity for you. On my website, you can sign up with me and you get access to a couple dozen videos. You've got videos on goal setting. If you haven't ever done a goal setting class with me, you know I have really cool goal setting tips that help you take your business to the next level really fast. I have all these mindset, like thinking outside the box, goal setting, all this kind of stuff. I have ones on questions and sales, how to ask questions in a group, how to ask questions on Facebook, how to ask questions one-on-one. I have like 12 different types of questions. I shared 3 of them with you today. There's all these different types of questions that you can create. There are videos on recruiting, okay, and how to get your new recruits started, how to get them asking questions. Can you imagine if the next 3 recruits you had, if they were asking questions like you're learning right now, how different could the success of your next recruits be? Would that be crazy fun? Are you tired of kidnappers? Okay, let's not do that anymore. Let's find people, let's get them trained right, let's get them asking questions, setting goals from the get-go. We're going to get them trained really well, okay? All these videos are on there. You get to watch them as many times as you want, over and over again. You get to go back to them. But what's cool is you get to go watch them, and then you get to come hang out with me. So on Mondays, either at 9 a.m. or at 5 p.m., which that's Pacific time. So if you're Central, that would be 11 and 7. Do I have Mountain or Eastern? I know Beverly was Eastern, so that's 3 hours different. That would be noon or 8. Are you guys kind of getting it? Anybody Mountain time need me to do the math for you? It's just add 1, okay? So what you do is you get to come on to one of those, what's called the mastermind class. You come and pick my brain, tell me what's going on. Other people in your similar situations are there to share ideas, and you get to come tell me how it's going, what video you watched, who you've talked to, and we sit and make these tweaks. Then a second time during the week, I have what's called office hours. I'm hanging out here on Zoom. You pop on, you tell me how things are going, what you're working on in your week, and I help you keep making those tweaks, okay? So you have 2 different opportunities during the week to come share with me how things are going, and we can help you move your business to the next level really fast. Now, getting all that is $100 a month, but I have an enormous amount of really cool bonuses for you because I am so committed to helping you take your business to the next level and fast, especially with Christmas season coming on. So there's several things I have for you, and I've lost my paper. Hang on 2 seconds. So there's a couple different things that you get when you sign up by Sunday night, okay? And I'm gonna, here they are. All right, so the first bonus is we're gonna create 10 industry-specific questions just for you. So for Pampered Chef, for Arbonne, for Unique, for Mary Kay. Okay, Lynn, I'm not sure which company you're representing today. Nutrition. I do a lot with companies with health. I have a lot of really cool questions for them. We're going to make some really great specific industry questions for you that when you're talking to people, following up with past customers, we can really highly increase your repeat business and getting the number of people you talk to, more of them signed up and buying with your company. Okay, so that's the first thing. It's a $50 value. The second thing you get is 1 hour with me. You can divide it up in 2 different hour or 2 different half-hour sessions. That's a $150 value right there. The next thing that you get is 1 free month of the online services, okay, the videos and joining the classes for one of your team members or a girlfriend that you are good advocates for each other. You get 1 person on your team to come do this with you so that then you have someone that's like an accountability partner in helping you get there. So that's a $100 value right there. You get me reviewing your messages. It's hard. Most people aren't willing to record a phone call and send me the audio, okay? But you can copy and paste text messages and messages on Facebook, and I can help you get really good at that fast and get more interaction and either get the initial sale or get more repeat sales by I help you with your messaging, okay? That's a $150 value. Then I will also go on and evaluate your Facebook posts. I look at them and I go, okay, that was a yes/no question. Here's an idea for an open-ended. Oh, I love this picture in this video. Try asking this question with it. See if that will get you more interaction. We're having amazing results with that, okay? Because you post all this and somebody might like it, but they don't say anything. You don't normally know if they're interested. We have ways to get them to comment, so then you can start private messaging them and turn them into customers. Does that sound fun? Okay. All that stuff together is a $650 value. I want to help you take your business to the next level fast. This is fun, and you can make these changes, and you can make the money back so much faster. I promise you this $100 is this tiny investment, okay? You can stay with me as many months as you'd like. You can cancel at any time. You just need a 14-day, hey, Michelle, I'm going to take a break right now. I'm not going to do this. You just give me a 14-day warning from the time you sign up on that date, so if it's on the 28th or whatever it is, you just tell me by the 14th of the next month. But you come and you hang out with me and I help you take your business to the next level. I had one gal last week who was kind of timid. She's like, I wasn't sure about the investment. Within 3 days, just individual sales, she's like, I've made $75 back of $100 in 3 days. Okay, this is an investment. This is not an expense. When you understand how much money and how much faster you will make it, you will not see it as an expense at all. You will know that you helped yourself and you invested in yourself, just like you did in your kit or you did going to convention. You did those things with the idea of making more money. These things will help you do more sales. You can immediately see how that turnaround is. You don't always see the turnaround from convention. Did I make more money or not? This you can go, wow, my parties, I now have 8 booked instead of 4, or I have, my average was $400 a party, now it's $500 a party. Last month I recruited 1, this month I recruited 3. You can see the changes in your business from this. It's tons of fun. Now, you're going to be getting an email here. Actually, it may have already sent out that has all those bonuses in it, okay? And in those bonuses, in that email, it will tell you exactly where to sign up, but I'm going to give you the email or the website right now. So it's creativesuccesssystems.com. That is my website, okay? And if you click on the Create Success Series, that will take you, and you just go to the bottom, and there's different levels to this. You don't need the $150 level. That's for people who have really big teams and already kind of know what they're doing with this. The lower level does not include the recruiting. So the $50 level, you can do that, but it wouldn't include the recruiting, okay? The $100 level is the perfect one that gets everybody moving really fast and at a massive rate, okay? who has any questions about this extra bonuses or how you sign up or just why would I want to do this? Anybody? Okay, I want to hear everybody's real quick, your aha moment. So unmute yourself and tell me real quick, what was your aha moment? What are you going to go and do different today? Go for it, Brandy. You're up in my corner.
So today,
Or in the next 48 hours.
okay, because I have a show tomorrow night. So it would just be finding out, like where addressing like their dinner time problem. So asking them a question so that way I can get to know how to sell them what they need instead of assuming that everybody wants a deep cover baker. So finding out who the bakers are and maybe who are the chefs and not going the microwave route. So it kind of flips there.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. All right, Darcy, what was your aha moment? Do you mind if I mute you? There we go. Yeah.
Do you mind? And I'm already unmuted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Asking better questions. I seem to give compliments, but I don't ask direct questions.
Gotcha. Okay, awesome. All right, and up here, Renee, hi. I don't know if she's muted. Can you hear me, Renee? No problem. All right. How about Sarah? Your thing says net slave now, so I had to remember. It was. I'm going to unmute you. What was your aha moment? Oh, I don't hear you for some reason. Can you turn on your audio down at the bottom? She's typing away. Let's see what she has to say here in just a second. So my friend Ashley, who's been working with me, she's going to tell you a little bit what she's got out of this. Ashley, go ahead. I'm going to unmute you, darling.
Thank you. Okay, so I was super nervous about spending the $100 to get started because I did a bunch of events that failed. So in my original opinion, I was like, oh gosh, that's a lot of money. But I was the one working with Michelle, and I got $75 of, which since yesterday, I completely got back my entire sum. So I am shaking with just excitement, and I don't want to say disbelief, but I am just so incredibly inspired by her training and her questions. I feel more comfortable. I don't feel as scared to talk to people. It just kind of comes out naturally, and people can sense that. They know if you're trying to sell them. They know if you're just sharing. And when you find what they want and what they need, it is a huge difference, and it considerably tripled my business.
Awesome. Congratulations, Ashley. I am thrilled for you. And it wouldn't help if you didn't use it. So you are doing the hard work.
I thank you.
So I'm so happy and proud of you. Well done. All right, let me see here real quick what Sarah typed. Listening more and getting more responses from my clients and prospects. You bet. That is awesome. All right, Christine, I'm going to unmute you. Any aha moments you want to share with us? All right, how about any of my gals on the phone? I had Brandy, Brandy's up here. Let's see. I had Beth and my friend. Beth, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
What was your aha moment?
I think basically